What's up, YouTube? Bobbles and Ball Cards back with another video for you. Really hope everyone is continuing to be well with the health and managing through this quarantining and stay-at-home placements and stuff like that. Hopefully, again, I'll just, sound like a broken record, but hopefully we'll get through this soon. But luckily, we do have sports cards to rely on for some entertainment. It's been really weird with no sports being on, and it's really exciting to know that hopefully very soon they'll be back and we can have some kind of fun back in our lives and things to cheer for and just get back to somewhat normalcy. But anyway, with that being said, I know I do, baseball, basketball, hockey, and some football. I've showed cards I send in for orders, for grading orders. My first order, obviously, I went pretty heavy on baseball. My second order, I went heavy on basketball. Mixing some hockey in there and did a little football on my last one. But truthfully, baseball is my favorite sport. By far, it's the sport growing up I enjoyed most playing. It's the sport I enjoyed watching. It's the sport I love digging into statistics on. There's so many statistics that, are based on a player's performance that you can compare one to the other. Obviously you have offensive and defensive stats, but today what I want to talk about is there was a topic on there was a topic on Reddit asking about lower end or middle end rookies that people are kind of investing in or collecting, that you don't have to necessarily invest in, guys. That's the great thing about sports cards. You can have players that you like that may not have the most resale value, but it can still be fun collecting them, whether it be on your favorite team or just whatever. With baseball, I am a Nationals fan. I go to a lot of the minor league games. I've seen many players before they ever made the majors, specifically Victor Robles. I've seen Juan Soto in the minors. I've watched Carter Kieboom. Luis Garcia. I've watched him play several times. Many guys, and when you watch them in the minors, I don't know if any of you guys go watch minor league baseball or if you have a local team that you could go watch. But when you watch these guys, you can kind of get an idea of how they're going to be when they get to the majors, but not all the time are they, can you tell right spot on. It's a big jump from the minors to the majors. Specifically, one guy, a lot of people have talked about him, and I had hope for him, but that's Carter Kieboom. I watched him in Single A several times when he was a shortstop. The kid has a wonderful bat in the minors. He can mash the ball. But he's very, very shaky defensively, and when he got to the majors last year, he had a couple good games in the beginning, and then it just completely fell off. Whether it was confidence of a bad game, lowered him, the stage was too big for him, whatever it may be. We have to look at more than just a big name or a top 100 prospect list. Again, you cannot base off what a guy is like in the minors. You can get an idea, but you cannot gauge 100% that this guy is going to be great. Some guys come up and they weren't any good in the minors, and they come up and get an opportunity and they become stars. I'll use Acuna for example. He's big, one of the best players in the game right now. What people may not realize, in 2017, the prospect that was really, really hot for the Braves was what's the guy's name? Oh, I can't remember it now. Kevin Maitan. He was the hot thing. Acuna was, he was in one of probably top 3, maybe top 5 in the Braves farm system, but he wasn't the talk or the rage. That's why when the Bowman Mega Boxes came out, everybody was going after Shohei Ohtani, obviously his Japanese card. But Kevin Maitan, and I know for experience, he was the guy everybody wanted. I actually hit his Black Mojo 101 auto out of a Bowman Mega Box. I did not even buy many of them. I only was able to purchase 9. And I got lucky enough to hit Kevin Maitan. I put it on eBay for $10,000 or best offer, and within an hour and a half, I got an offer of $3,500. 2 weeks later, the scandal came out with the international signings and, all that mess. But anyway, Maitan ended up on the Angels. Good opportunity for the kid. Got Mike Trout. He's a big name. He's unheard of now. Nobody talks about him. I watched videos, what little I could find of him, when I had the card, just to see, hey, is this kid, does he look like he's got talent? To me, he had a slow bat, was sluggish, playing shortstop and everything. So, anyway, I want to get into this. This is going to be rookies from 2019, specifically guys who have cards in 2019 Topps, but more so 2019 Update. That set was very undervalued because people were mad that Bichette wasn't in it, that Yordan Alvarez wasn't in it, that Aquino wasn't in it, that Nico Horner wasn't in it. So you can still find those cards, like boxes, packs, on the shelves at your local stores, Walmart, Target, whatever. Obviously with 2020 coming out, they're thinning, but they didn't get bought up. People were very undervaluing the set. And I'm going to show you some guys that are in here, and these aren't guys that are on my list, but obviously just some examples. You have Keyboom. You have Kevin Biggio, a guy that I'm not doing in my list of undervalued, but he could be on this list. Great player, but he was in there. Brendan Rodgers, he was in Update. Nick Senzel, another guy that was a top prospect. Everybody talked about him. He's done okay, but he hasn't done great. But he's in there. Michael Chavez, another guy. He's in there. Keston Hiura, he's in there. Everybody's loving Keston Hiura. He has great numbers, great potential. But he's in there. Vlad is in there, aside from his short print. But anyway, enough of the chit chat. I'm going to go ahead and get into my list. I have compiled this list by looking at statistics of guys who only have 1 year of playing time, which was last year. And I also went by looking at age and things like that. The 4 guys that I'm going to be pointing out are actually all 24 years of age. So they're still young. They're not Juan Soto young or Acuna young, but they're still young. And I'm going to go through some of their stats and give some examples of what their prices are right now. And first up is going to be Will Smith. He's my number 4 guy. Will Smith played 54 games this year, and he could potentially be higher on my list, but I'm putting him at number 4. In 54 games, he compiled a 1.7 WAR. He had 15 home runs in 170 at-bats. So just under 10% of his at-bats, he hit a home run. He had 42 RBI, and he only struck out 52 times, so about once a game. Why I kept him 4th on my list was he had a .253 batting average, so I kind of knocked him down for that. But I think he's a good buy. You can pick his update golds for about $15, and you can get his short prints like this one for roughly $10 to $15. So if he comes out, gets more playing time this year, 80 to 100 games, maybe 120 games if he can take over the starting spot at catcher. In 54 games he hit 15 homers, so just under a home run. Just over 3 games he was hitting a home run. I think he has potential upside. He's also on the Dodgers, which obviously have a big market. At number 3, I'm going to go with Oscar Mercado. People have heard of him, but he doesn't get a whole lot of talk, and his prices definitely are, to me, undervalued. For rookies, and this is everybody that was considered a rookie last year, but I'm doing, like I said, guys that only have played in last season, so 1 year of service, or 1 year of statistic compilation. But Oscar Mercado, he played 115 games last year. He had 438 at-bats. He compiled a 2.5 WAR. He had 15 home runs and 15 stolen bases. With that, he also had 54 RBI. He had a 269 batting average, a 318 on-base percentage, and a 443 slugging percentage. He's also 24 years old. He's in the Cleveland Indians organization, so obviously with Lindor and everything. Another one, I really think that he has potential to rise, especially with his prices. You can pick his golds of the update up for $8 to $10, and you can pick his short prints, his regular short prints up for between $5 and $7. Very cheap value on a guy that was 12th overall in 2019 rookies at a 2.5 WAR. Next up, I could put this guy at number 1, but I changed him to number 2 for a reason I will say in a few minutes, but that is Bryan Reynolds. Again, 24-year-old. He had 134 games played. He compiled a WAR of 4.1. Fernando Tatis Jr., in comparison, also had a 4.1 WAR. Reynolds had 491 at-bats. He had 16 home runs. He only struck out 121 times. He compiled a 314 average, 377 on-base percentage with a 503 slugging, for an OPS of 880. Very comparable stats to Tatis with the same exact WAR. So with his numbers, you can get his golds like this one here for $10 to $12. He does not have a short print, so you could keep an eye out on the golds or blacks or pinks, whatever you choose. But I'm specifically going over golds because these are the most common that people buy up as far as a parallel. So he was actually number 3 in WAR for rookies. Pete Alonso was number 1, Victor Robles was number 2, and then Bryan Reynolds. Robles has 3 years of statistic compilation, so if you exclude him and only go with first-year guys, Bryan Reynolds would have been your number 2 WAR guy for the 2019 year. Obviously, he did play 50 more games than Tatis, so that could have played into it a little bit, but still a great value at $10 to $12 for a gold with potential of increase. Now, my number 1 guy, and I've spoken about him in another video, but that's Tommy Edman. He's on the Cardinals, and that's why I put him at number 1 rather than Reynolds, because Reynolds is obviously in Pittsburgh, and the Cardinals have a way bigger fan base and market upside. Tommy Edman, he played 92 games, so he only had 8 more games played than Tatis. He had 326 at-bats, which was also, this was 8 less at-bats than Tatis. He scored 59 runs, which was 2 less than Tatis. Had 99 hits, which was 7 less than Tatis. Had 4 more doubles than Tatis, which he had 17 versus Tatis' 13. He had 1 more triple than Tatis at 7 and 6. The major difference was in home runs, which obviously plays a key factor, but Tatis had 22 home runs versus Edman's 11. Edman had 15 stolen bases. Now, the interesting factor is Edman had a 3.9 WAR compared to Tatis' 4.1 WAR. Edman had a 304 batting average, a 350 on-base percentage, and a 500 slugging percentage for a total of an 850 OPS. To compare that with Tatis was 317, average 379 on-base percentage, 590 slugging, and a 969 OPS, which obviously comes from the difference in home runs. The big factor with the two, Tatis struck out 110 times in his 334 bats, whereas Edman only struck out 61 times in 326 at-bats. So a way lower strikeout rate. Tatis does have the edge on the home runs, which bumps his OPS and everything up. But we all know Tatis is the top-selling rookie in this class, and you have a guy right here whose statistic line, aside from home runs and OPS, is almost mirroring of what Tatis did. They're both shortstops. Tatis is in San Diego. Edman's in St. Louis. St. Louis, obviously, a much bigger market. St. Louis made the playoffs. You know, I mean, they knocked the Braves out of the playoffs. So he is my number one undervalued guy right now. You can pick this gold up raw for $12 to $15. He does not have a short print. Now, another key factor with this card that people probably don't realize, he only has a rookie in Topps Update. He does not have a first Bowman. He does not have a card in Topps Chrome Update like Tatis does. He doesn't have a card in Topps Chrome. He doesn't have, the thousands upon thousands of autos out there. He literally only has the Topps Update rookie. And he's mirroring statistic-wise of Tatis, aside from the power numbers, which could come. Now, granted, I love Tatis. I think I love the way he plays the game. But my other concern with Tatis is he's had injury issues. Could he hit 40-40? Sure. No problem. I think he could do it eventually in his career. Can he stay healthy? That he's got to prove. When you have a guy right here that you can pick up for, probably 10% of what Tatis's price is costing, and in a bigger market, a team that makes the playoffs, and a guy that's mirroring his stats, he's my number one from 2019 best value, most underrated player for rookies that were 25 or younger and played 1 year of service in 2019. Tommy Edman. A guy that I'll give an honorable mention to is Luisa Reyes. He compiled a 1.8 WAR in 92 games last year. He did have a 334 batting average. My concern with him was his power numbers. He only had 4 home runs. But on the flip side of that, he only struck out 29 times. So the guy's got an eye at the plate. If he can add some power to his game, I think he could be a very undervalued player. For some reason, though, I guess people already think that he's worth more than he should be, because the last two of his golds actually went for $40. I don't know if someone else has spoke about him that is a large voice in the hobby or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, he's my honorable mention guy. Obviously, I did not include the 2020, the guys that are in 2020, like Jordan, Bichette, Aquino, Nico Horner, you know, guys like that. I didn't include pitchers, because pitchers, you know, at any moment they have a high risk to them. They could suffer Tommy John or something like that. They only get to play, you know, every 5 days. So I only wanted to speak on statistic based on offensive players, and, you know, just compare some numbers there. Obviously Tatis is the most valuable, but when you're looking at guys like Reynolds and Edman, who had the very, very, very comparable numbers, very comparable WAR, it just surprises me at how much difference they are. Some other guys here that are in the set that I didn't mention, Mike Yastrzemski, very good numbers. He actually had 21 home runs and a 2.8 WAR. He had a 272 average. You know, so pretty good. The reason I didn't include him or mention him is he's 28 years old, so he is on an older level as far as playing time and all that stuff. He's coming in late. But yeah, guys, I want to mention though, I had said in one of my videos that I wasn't going to get into this with discussing names and this and that, but I don't expect people to go out and buy these cards up. I don't expect people to go out and try to push the price of the cards I have. Quite honestly, I look to buy more, so I hope that, you know, doesn't happen right away. These are guys that I feel like are good to collect and do have some long-term potential for increase, especially if they can, you know, improve even on these numbers. I think they may get some more popularity in the market. So if you want to go out and buy some of the base cards or the cheap golds or whatever, you know, you can jump on that before they become more expensive cards. I don't expect people to go out and like say, oh, well, Bobbles Ball Cards said this guy's going to blow up. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying at this moment, and based on their statistics from last season, these guys are guys that I like and feel are way undervalued. Do I know if they're going to have great years this year? No, I don't. I am not I can't tell the future. I could be completely off. These are just guys that I like. I'll tell you, one reason I like Edman, Anthony Rendon he actually went last year at spring training and told the Cardinals, you guys need to put this guy on your major league roster. If Anthony Rendon can speak for a guy, he must see something in him, and he must have some very good potential. Unfortunately, he's undervalued. His numbers show he's a good player. Anyway, guys, like I said, I just wanted to get on, throw this up, trying to just find some content for everyone to enjoy, help people out, and yeah, enjoy the hobby, you know. Just if you feel that any of my data has any proof or reasoning, then feel free to go grab some up, but don't go overspend. And I'm not trying to push prices up or anything like that, guys, please. Just thought I'd share some information out there and have some fun with it. But anyway, if you haven't yet subscribed, please hit that subscribe button and turn that bell on, and go follow us over on Instagram at Bobbles and Ball Cards. But anyway, I'm going to cut this here, and until the next video, I'm out.